Hello there and welcome to the newest Marvel podcast. We are the Fantastic Three. I'm Dean and I'm joined by my co-hosts Ashley and Reese.
On this podcast, we will be looking at fan theories, debunking the newest trailers and diving into all things Marvel. Please like, follow and subscribe to all forms of our social media at TF3Pod.
Listen along on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Amazon Music. You can also watch along on YouTube as well. You'll find us under the name The Fantastic Three.
Hello and welcome to the Moon Knight episode 3 recap, reaction, review. I'm going to let Reese start this off today. What are you going with, Reese? Yeah, you're going to start today.
What we're doing?
Last week. We'll go scene by scene. Well,
scene by scene, yeah? No worries.
We'll go into it.
So first scene, what we got was Lila getting a fake passport from that lady who seemed to know her quite a lot, and also know her dad as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah. So she got a passport. I think her birth date was like the 28th for the 10th, 94 or something like that. But I know
the Egyptian one as well.
But then also the actress's birth date is the other way around. So I think her birth date is October the 28th, 86. In real life, there's some like similarities apparently.
That lady's also in Gotham.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I've not seen it. I know.
No, she's in Gotham.
Who is she playing Gotham?
I think it's like a shopkeeper.
Catwoman.
No.
Oh.
No. It's like a shopkeeper, isn't it?
Oh.
But yeah,
I did see it. I saw that on Twitter. I think actually I saw that. Yeah, I do know what you're on about now. Yeah.
The only questions I have with her in this first episode is the Egyptian passport. Why does she need that?
Yeah, because she's Egyptian, isn't she? It was a bit strange.
Yeah, I think she's Egyptian, but it's more the fact that she could have just got any passport.
Yeah, she could have got a nice blue passport.
She could have got like a she could have got a British passport. She could have got anything, American passport. They're forging it, so it could have been anything. So it's quite.
The lady knew about the dad as well, didn't she? She knew a lot about her dad. She was like, "Your dad wouldn't have told me to do all this."
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite cool. I don't know if you saw the date. I think her date on the passport it says it was issued in 2021. So, excuse me, I don't think she got blipped. I think she was another one that survived the blip as well.
Yeah.
I think I saw.
Yeah, but that's a touchy one.
But I don't know if that's because it's a fake passport. So you're not.
I was going to say because she might have just wrote that year down. So it's one of them. It's like you can't verify that, and you also can't like not say she didn't get blipped, and you can't say she did get blipped because we still don't know. Even now, we're still talking about Endgame and Infinity War, and we're in phase 4 now, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
There's consequences.
So,
there's still like consequence from that in this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that was really it all. We got just, connections to the father, the fake ID so she could go to Egypt because obviously she knew that's where Mark or Stephen or whoever, whatever alias he was currently playing was there. And then that's all we really got. Like I say, just the subtle hints to the dad and just some history between that shopkeeper and the father, really. And then we jumped on to Harrow's got the scarab, isn't he, to try and find the path to Amit's tomb.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
And the path to Amit's tomb. Yeah. What do you think of that, Ash? That was a good scene. I quite enjoyed that that bit.
What bit was it?
The bit after where they're trying to find the tomb.
Episode.
And when you get the scarab and it's going like that, and then it just points down, and then he turns around and goes, "We found it."
I can't actually remember that bit. I know it's something, but I can't actually even remember that bit.
Ashley's choking. Right, well then it goes from it's fine, because he does that, and then they find Artem's tomb from that. Well, they think they have. Because it still might not be there. They don't
know. No.
And then I remember. And
then it goes from that.
He goes, "We found it," and then they all start cheering. Don't they? Yeah, I remember that bit.
And then it goes from that to Mark chasing down. I think
Rooftop Runners.
That's it, Rooftop Runners. And then this is where it gets a bit more exciting because people didn't see something in this, but we'll go through that at the end of what we've got to talk about. So it starts off with them fighting. Mark obviously is better at fighting than Stephen. And Stephen is obviously hidden away, and Mark's not going to give him up for this, clearly.
No,
but
absolutely.
Stephen's obviously not going to...
Stephen's getting a taste of what Mark is going through, like the sort of like the thing in the back, in like the back, you know, the the back of his head.
And then it's also the fact that so he's just fine, trying to defend himself, and then obviously they've got knives, so they're trying to stab him, trying to kill him, but he doesn't. He just tries to knock it. You can tell he's not trying to kill him. He's just trying to knock him out, especially with the young kid when he goes to punch him.
Yeah.
He stops.
Well, he pulled the punch, didn't he?
Slaps.
He pulled the punch. Yeah.
Yeah, and he slaps him. So
and that's
that's where you can tell, like when he in the previous episodes when he was talking about the mercenary and he was killing all them people, and he turned around and went, "That wasn't me," or "I didn't do it." Yeah. Now you can you're now kind of getting that picture of, oh, okay, maybe it wasn't him. Stephen only kills in self-defense. If he feels threatened, he's going to kill. That's why he killed that that thing in the first episode.
See, Mark's a killer because he's a mercenary. He's a
That's who I meant. I didn't mean Stephen. I actually meant.
But I
actually meant.
Yeah, Stephen. I was going to say. Yeah.
Sorry, that was me. It's because I was talking about thingy. I actually meant Mark. Mark's.
Yeah,
only kills on self-defense.
I thought you did. Yeah.
Stephen doesn't want to kill. That's all.
Stephen doesn't want to kill. He just wants to be a gift shopist, as he called himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the exciting race.
Yeah. So I didn't see this. I'm not going to take credit for it. It was floating around on Twitter heavily. I know that we retweeted and quote tweeted a bit on our Twitter, which you can find at the Tier 3 Pod in capital letters.
Good plug.
We tweeted it and quote tweeted it a bit and liked it, but where he pulled his punch on that kid. Where he pulled his punch on that kid, on the back of his denim jacket, he had the outlay and the picture of the head of Rama-Tut, which is Pharaoh Rama-Tut is a Kang the Conqueror variant. So we not been linked with Kang. We know that Kang is going to be a big part of the MCU coming up. So we finally got a sort of
little hint
aside from Loki,
something else. Yeah.
Showing that it's all still connected together.
Yeah. I just think it was really, really cool, really good, really, really, really cool little Easter egg. We didn't see it. It was New Rockstars posted a video about it, and then it was doing the rounds. But they got confirmation from one of the set men from Moon Knight to
say it was actually linked.
Give it actual confirmation. So I think that was really a really cool link. If anyone don't know who King Rama-Tut is, he just used his army of robots to from his time ship, because he was a time traveler, and he just took over the kingdom of Egypt and just ruled. And I think it was saying he had I forgot a bit of the comics, but he had a herb. He'd done something with a herb that cleared his vision because he was blind in one eye, or he lost his vision. It's been ages since we looked at all that, but I'm certain. What?
Like Wanda, she lost her vision.
It's terrible.
Shocking.
That's
but
terrible.
I'm sure we'll see more of the Rama-Tut linking up in another episode. They're just going to try and drop us all a Kang variant now, aren't they? I'm so glad we saw that.
Yeah.
That was
it's
really,
sort of
really
getting
cool.
teasing what's to come.
Right, should we move on?
Absolutely, yeah.
And another thing quick before we do move on, another thing that I know is about the knife fighting as well, that they were doing a lot of throwing their knives about, doing basically acrobatics with their knives before they were using them. And I think Mark actually rolled his eyes at one point, because he went right up to him and he sort of dropped his knife, flicking it around his hand as he rolled his eyes and oh God, if you're going to do it, just do it. And then he punched him in the face. So sort of he was if you basically stop dancing, you might stand a chance.
I did like Stephen's interaction and all of that, though. Obviously, where you can see the reflection of the blade, and that leads us into the next scene, doesn't he? Where he has his blackout, which we've only seen from Stephen to Mark, not Mark from Stephen, which is unusual, because I know that in the first couple of episodes, didn't they say that Mark overpowers Stephen? Stephen can't turn into Mark. Mark can, it's only when Mark lets Stephen come into that form. I'm certain they said that in the first episode.
I can't remember how it works.
But obviously we see it, and then he wakes up in that taxi, doesn't he? So that's the next scene where they wake up he wakes up and he has no idea what's going on. No idea.
Stephen was speaking Arabic or Egyptian. Egyptian.
Yeah, because he obviously
was
knows.
like, "Why are you now playing dumb?"
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
the cabin.
Where I'm doing.
Yeah. And then he sees the men coming out the thing. Do you remember what happens next, then, Ash?
It was, I think it was when the wasn't it all the avatars meet, or he does the eclipse. He does the eclipse to summon all of the avatars into the pyramid. Oh no, he lets the guy, the kid, go over the. He asks the kid, and he drops him over the edge, doesn't he? Or the
yeah, but do you know how they get to that because he chases them, pins one of them.
Oh, yeah, chase him through the
Stephen
market, and then they wake up,
which gets him distracted, so he gets knocked out, falls to the floor, and then you see him doing that thing where he's like, which we think is turning into Stephen. Yeah. And then he obviously doesn't.
And then they wake up with one of them dead, and then all the others covered in blood, wasn't it?
2 dead.
Yeah. And then the kid was the only, even though the kid, it's weird that the kid was the only one left alive though, even though like when Steve.
Well, he's the one that also had the Rama-Tut jacket. It's no coincidence, but just around, you know.
Yeah. And it's weird how like Mark turns around and says, "Well, we can't do anything, he's just a kid, blah blah blah," and all that.
Well,
and
it's the first time it's the first time Mark kind of doesn't agree with Khonshu. Khonshu's the one that's saying take him to the cliff. And he's like, he's only a kid, and he's like, he'll talk. Yeah.
That's what Khonshu was. Yeah, take him to the cliff. He'll talk, and then he done the complete polar opposite. He didn't want to talk. Yeah. He's loyal to Amit. You know, he's part of Harrow's go. But then when we were something big.
Well, yeah, when we got to that bit, the beginning of that bit is when Stephen went. Mark was like, "Stephen, what did you do?" And he was like, "I didn't do anything. That wasn't me."
Yeah.
He said, "Who was it?" And they both looked shocked. Yeah. So, we could talk. We got asked a good question on Twitter because we posted a tweet asking about the third personality, and one of our followers, I forgot the name. What was the name again?
Well, we actually asked for our followers to give us a question for this week.
That was it.
This week's episode that they didn't really understand about the episode. So we put it out there, and then this is the question we got back, which was about. Can you explain more in more detail?
What was the question? Who was it from? So I just want to thank that person for their.
Let me find it. Sorry. Right. Oh, where is it?
Oh, I got it here.
Oh, no.
I got it here.
You got it?
I got it here.
I was not prepared for that.
Catherine Thin put on our Twitter, am I the only one who is slightly confused who the third personality is? Please shed some light. So in the comics, as we discussed in one of our first episodes when Moon Knight, when we got just before it came out, he's got 3 personalities. I'm not sure if they're calling it personalities anymore because I know that there was a bit of debate on Twitter regarding the usage of the. Yeah, it was like I think because they've said now that it's not a personality because apparently that offends some people, and obviously we don't want to offend anyone here on the pod if you suffer with that and. But they've got another alias. Let's call it an alias then. So we've got
call it an alias.
So far we've seen 3 of them. We've seen Mr. Knight, 4, Mr. Knight, Moon Knight, Mark Spector, and Stephen Grant. So there's another one called Jake Lockley. Jake Lockley's just a cab driver that sometimes gets involved with like criminals, but he oversees a lot because where he's on his cab, so he's already out on New York streets listening and understanding what's going on. Me, myself, I'm very confused that I don't think that Jake Lockley's got it in him to do the killing. So I may be thinking that they might make another persona as such.
Yeah. Or could it be Khonshu?
I saw people saying that, but I don't think Khonshu can't take over Mark.
The only way he can is when he's in the temple.
Yeah, so I'm just, so I don't know. If it's Jake, then it's going to be a completely different Jake that people saw in the comics, which is no problem with that. We're all here for something different, granted, but if it's Jake, I don't know. I'm just not sure it will be Jake, and if it is, don't expect a cab driver Jake. It's a killer, someone who just wants to kill. Just someone who wants to kill and likes killing. Because when we saw it, that person enjoyed killing them. He wanted to kill them. He had no hesitation in killing. So yeah. That was sort of that scene, really, just to clear up that question. And thank you for leaving a question as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
You.
If anyone else got any questions, don't forget to head over to our Twitter at TF3Pod, and you can ask us questions there. But then we end that little sequence with Stephen, Mark talking to Khonshu about how they can. It was more or less how they can get an audience in front of the gods.
Yeah.
So Khonshu makes an eclipse to basically is his signal to summon them to get them because they won't ignore the eclipse. I'm not really sure what the eclipse means.
Well, it was to affect the sky, so it was a sign. It was a sign to the other gods.
And then Mark obviously asks, and then Mark obviously asks, "How do I get there?"
Yeah.
And then Khonshu's like, "Well,"
and the portal opens.
It opens a portal.
Harry Potter style.
Yes. Yeah, very Harry Potter style.
Diagon Alley style. No, yeah, I like that scene. I think it was really good. Yeah, I think it was really good. I think this next bit of that was very enjoyable for future projects in the MCU, especially because you've got Gore the God Butcher coming up. I think they're introducing these gods for a specific reason. Maybe because we're going to see some god butchering with the, even if we see Gore maybe killing their avatars, Yeah. So the first he got greeted by, is it Yatzil, the avatar of Hathor,
yes.
And the goddess who was the goddess of love and music, I want to say, but that was Khonshu's lover. Yeah, her and Khonshu had a fling in the past, so
yeah,
that was why we greeted, and then we was only greeted by another. I think it was 5.
Five in the
Ennead.
9. Yeah.
And then, so we got greeted by. I've got a note. It was Horus, Isis, Tefnut, Osiris, and Hathor. So that was the 5 of the 9 Ennead that was meant to see. So maybe they could have been put in stone by the other members before for doing something wrong. But
yeah. And then when they talk to Khonshu, because they summoned Khonshu, Khonshu to talk about what's going on, to explain to her trying to find Amit's tomb and all that and what carnage it's going to cause. And then one of the guys says about Khonshu's already been stoned before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really go into it about him being what happened, but so he can get out of it, which is something to remember.
They mentioned the Overvoid as well, where all the gods are currently chilling. They're chilling in the Overvoid, so just a parallel where it's just non-existent to anyone else, just the gods. Actually, you had a good thing, didn't you, about in the tomb? You had a good little Easter egg, didn't you?
They say the same as what the Eternals say. We're not like we're forbidden to get involved in any human conflict.
See, I
didn't see that. I didn't see that. That was quite good.
So sort of the same, going as the same morals as the Eternals. That they can't get involved. That's probably why they weren't involved too much in the Thanos being the same as Eternals.
Very true. And then we get Arthur Arrow turn up because he gets summoned by the gods.
He gets summoned, yeah.
And then he comes, pleads his case, and
then walks away.
Doesn't really go anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't actually really.
Well,
go
he just
anywhere.
sort of
comes in,
he pleads his case, doesn't he?
He plays a very good game.
Yeah, he plays a very good victim.
Yeah, he plays the victim and makes Khonshu look like I don't know.
Like a
I don't know. I just also want to say
the
inside of the Pyramid of Giza looks insane, by the way.
Yeah, I wonder if it's real.
It looks insane, by the way.
It does look clever.
It really does.
No. And then we go from there to I can't remember what the next scene was. Was it Ashley? Do you know?
I think it's the one when they go to the they go to see that they're looking for the tomb. No, not the tomb. I can't say the word. No, what's it called? Sarcophagus. That's it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because after Harrow pleads his case, and the judge obviously says says to Khonshu, if you meddle with the sky again, it will turn you into stone.
Yeah.
And then the trial ends, doesn't it? And then Yahtzee comes up to Mark, who's the avatar of Osiris or
there is another way.
Not Osiris. The avatar of Khonshu's lover says there's another way.
Explains that there's another way to find it. Yeah.
And it got sold on the black market.
And then he comes out of that. He comes to the market, doesn't he? And he asks just a random market vendor about Tefnut's tomb, and then the guy was shocked and walked back, and then that's where you see Layla, and then she obviously knew some details, and then they're on their boat, aren't they?
But then went back to that bit quickly. But even Mark then says to her, why are you here? It's dangerous for you. You shouldn't be. And then she turns around and goes, what? Because some people don't like my name.
Yeah,
some must people have happened. But then she did say she hadn't been home in 10 years on previous episode, I think it was. Or in the beginning. She hadn't been home for 10 years.
She said it at the beginning, didn't she? Yeah.
So she hadn't been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that might play out something else.
I think I've got a little bit about that as well in a minute about that on my notes written down as well, why she hasn't been home, of just some reasonings why about her dad as well. We'll get into that.
Okay.
But they go to the black market seller, who is Mogart, which is played by the actor Gaspard Noel, I want to say. He's the one that passed away, unfortunately, just after I think it was while they were still filming. That's why, I don't know if you noticed, that scene was just felt very, not forced, I won't say forced, because I don't want to disrespect the scene, but the scene just felt very quick. Everything happened quickly and just... But that actor, so he's Anton Mogart, so he plays Midnight Man. So Midnight Man in the comics, he's one of like Moon Knight's villains. He hasn't got any superpowers as such. He's just a very good thief. So he has all ancient relics. A bit like Killmonger. He wants to have all the relics, he wants the relics.
Like
so
the
he wants. Yeah, that's. Do you know what that is? That is the best.
Basically, like the Earth's version of Collector.
Yeah. He's the Earth's collector. That, you know what? That is completely correct. That is such a good analogy for that. Yeah, absolutely. So he's the Earth collector. But he's called Midnight Man or Anton Mogart. I think it's Anton Mogart. I'm certain it is. And then, so they plays him. So we get a little introduction, but obviously we don't see much of him because unfortunately he's no longer with us. But I really enjoyed that scene. What about you, Ash? I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah, that was good with all the horse riding and all the they were stabbing it when the fighting and all the gun like action and all that. It was a bit of it's like a mixture of like sort of like a medieval vibe and then sort of like 21st century all the guns and like all the sword, like this almost like horse javelin, you know, like the javelin.
Yeah.
And all that sort of thing, which I thought was pretty good. It's like a mixture of the both. And I just like the sort of like and there's like when obviously we're talking a minute about when like Moon Knight comes in, he summons the suit, as he said. But I just like the sort of like, I like the way that they're going with like the violence. As I said, I think I've always said that Disney needs to really, like with everything that they do, they need to just really dive in with a bit of violence because it doesn't always have to be kid friendly. But I do like the sort of like when you see him, like he throws his what's his thing? His little metal.
He's lucky. They're
like you can like sticking into them and that, and all, and it's good that they're not like shying away from like a bit of violence and all that sort of, and a bit of action.
I completely agree.
There was a lot of hints in this one. I personally think to like Kang, like even like the boats when they get into that place. Like if you look at the boats in the background and stuff, I wrote it down my notes. If you look at the boats in the background, they're all like purple and like that teal color, which in the comics is what Kang is.
Yeah,
he's predominantly purple and teal color.
Little thing about
even like the lighting on them when they're in the thing is purple, and then obviously we had like it leads into like the other question, which is Harrow's like staff thing or stick? Is he using dark magic when he's using it because it's purple and it's the same as what Agatha used in WandaVision, and then it's still the same as what Strange used for.
It's dark magic, isn't it?
The spell to use Spider-Man. So is his staff made from dark magic, which he got given from maybe Kang? I don't know.
It's almost it might not have Kang, been. Like, is he behind everything that's going on?
Yeah, Kang. I personally think Kang will be. I think Kang's going to be the bad one. I think Kang's going to be the Thanos of Phase 4 and 5.
Do you think this is really random, right? But do you think Kang is controlling Amit
potentially
to tell Harrow what to do because Kang knows how dangerous Moon Knight could be to him not controlling everything. Yeah, he knows the power of Moon Knight.
Yes, and don't forget that when in Loki, Kang turns around and says, I'm the good one. Like, I am the same. I'm the.
He was scared, wasn't he?
I'm scared of the other people.
He's scared of the other variants. Yeah.
You don't know, like the one, like the god from like the MCU one, the one that you was talking about, in the one that's been leaked in, like linked to this one. I can't remember his name. Like that god,
Rama-Tut. Yeah.
that he could be like an absolute machine, and he could just talk to it. Kang's very horrible, especially in the comics.
Well, don't
He's a horrible person.
Don't forget in Loki. Do you know when they went to the not the astral plane, but do you know where Loki and Sylvie went to find that room, to find that house, and they got stuck on that land with all the other peoples, and you saw like all the other Lokis and all that. Don't forget there was pyramids and sphinxes there as well. So like a little hint. So like a little hint to that.
To him. Yeah, no.
The one thing I will say as well, there was a little, just before they got off the boat, just before I forget it, because it's quite a cool little Easter egg. I don't know if other people picked it up, but when they got off the boat and Layla met Belek, the security guard,
yes,
she was saying that and then she saw Mogart, and he was like, she said that, I'm surprised is this happy to see me after Madripoor, but I don't know if you remember, last time we saw Madripoor was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where Sharon Carter, we found out that she was the power broker in Madripoor.
She might have been linking to it.
Yeah, so like, especially with all the relics,
she likes that's why
she likes all the relics and all the
it's like all the alien technology. That's why she went with the serum for
exactly.
Thingy.
For John Walker. Yeah,
that's it, John Walker.
Yeah. Also, just a quick one as well. But before he summoned the suit, they were talking about Layla's father, and Harrow said that Mark knows something, or that Layla should know, and things like that. So sort of hinting that Mark could have a thing in, but there's a miss. Do you know when he found the phone in the last episode? There was the Deschamps after on the contact list. That's another one of Mark's mercenary friends, and Mark has a bit of history with Deschamps and Raoul Bushman, which is another mercenary and like one of the main villains in the comic books of Moon Knight. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Bushman type character come into this as well. I saw someone on Twitter do a thread about it, and I must admit, it's a shame I haven't got that app, because it was a really cool thread, I must admit, of talking about Raoul Bushman and how we could get introduced to into this series. So that there's still a couple of villains I think we're yet to see, and I think the last 3 episodes are going to be very villainesque and very heavy.
Isn't it
violence.
The next one that they always say is the best one in the
fourth one? Fourth one's
always the best.
Yeah,
the fourth one's always the best.
And obviously we go into like the whole factor of Moon Knight turning into Moon Knight. Someone's the suit. Even Layla, they kick some butt. They love it. They do well.
The suit is indestructible.
A little Star-Lord Easter egg as well. He turns around and says, "Can we all just chill the F out?"
Oh yeah, then he's like, take back.
Yeah,
he's like, you can take it back. You can take it back. Because he starts getting like stabbed.
He starts getting stabbed, doesn't he?
This is a serious question. Can he die? I know he's got, and they talk about it's like his armor. So,
very Deadpool-y, I think. Moon Knight does remind me of Deadpool a lot. I don't know why. He just got like a lot of Deadpool. Mr. Knight. The Mr. Knight suit reminds me a lot of Deadpool.
I can see where you're coming with that.
Right.
And moving on to the next part is when Mark and Layla are sitting and chatting, and they're trying to get the the map together for the stars. And
from Tefnut's tomb?
Yeah, and he says he finally lets like Stevie go. They're like, Steven knows how to do this, he can do it, and all that, and he just won't let him take over to like help out. But then eventually, obviously, he does, and then he's literally like boom, 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 and he's done it straight away.
Yeah. Well, that was quite a good engagement, wasn't it? Because he knew that Stephen would know what he's doing. Layla looked really shocked in that scene as well, didn't she? I don't know. She just looked really. And then she brought out her computer, thinking that she can.
Stephen a little bit.
Do you know what? Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, because she's more interested in having Stephen around then. That's why she was like at the previous scene. She was like, "Let Stephen out. Stephen will figure this code out. He can read the hieroglyphics."
I think Mark thinks that Stephen's a bit useless, and it's nice to show him that he's not useless and he can help out in like that he's not completely useless and help out.
Yeah, no, I get behind
but
that.
then also,
definitely.
don't forget that when in the previous scene, I don't think we really touched on it, but when Harrow was there, he was saying that Mark done stuff to do with Layla. I think it was his parents.
Yeah, the dad. Yeah.
So, and then when they're in the taxi on the way to this next bit or wherever they're going, she kind of asks what happened. Like, why did he say you did this or you did that? And he's like, he's lying. He's making it up.
Yeah.
But then he sits there like, oh,
yeah,
I'm screwed right now. So she might be a bit hot off him because of that. But
yeah,
you don't know.
But
I like the bit that she'd come out of her computer thinking that she could read the map straight away, and then Stephen was like, "That was from 2,000 years ago." And then that's when you hear the voice of Khonshu behind Stephen, who we never really see Khonshu have an interaction with Stephen.
No.
Khonshu sort of wasn't proud. I wouldn't say proud, but Khonshu sort of in that scene, I think he sort of thought, "Do you know what, Stephen ain't that bad," and I've got to make me turn into stone to figure it out, and this guy's actually helped us.
Yeah.
And obviously he was saying the sky was from 2,000 years ago, and he remembered that night. So I enjoyed that scene. I thought that was really cool.
Very bizarre though. Like I said when we were talking about it off camera and that, but how is Wong or Strange not intervened in any of this?
It's a great looking scene though, wasn't it?
It was it was a great scene. But I'm just saying, like in general, they try and see things and they get involved. They're not like the Eternals where they don't get involved in stuff like this. I'm sorry, but if Strange is there and he's seeing the day's skies being changed 2,000 years ago, I'm pretty sure he could be sitting there with Wong going, "Who the is that?"
Yeah. The only thing I didn't understand is why did he turn into Mr. Knight to do it? Why did he need to summon a suit to do that thing with Khonshu? Why couldn't he just do it as Stephen? Because
probably because he didn't know what to do, whereas Mr. Knight knew what to do. Maybe I don't really know.
But like you say though, I must admit, it's everyone can see what was going on.
Yeah, it's not like it was just in Egypt; it was the whole world.
And we want to know. We also need to know if he's changed because he's gone back 2,000 years in time.
Yeah.
So
the sky's gone back 2,000 years in time.
Yeah, and that's still though. Is there anything in the skies in 2,000 years time that are now coming back to be a threat?
Don't know.
You know, the scene was amazing.
This person they're trying to find must be very important.
Yeah,
to go back 2,000 years, and or to stop someone else and find.
Well, they just really want the tomb, didn't they? Yeah. And then I like when Harrow's comment when he was like, "You bought this upon your shelf, Khonshu," and then you see the other avatars of the gods in holding hands, like turning him to stone. I think that was good. But Khonshu actually seemed like that's the only time he seemed like he needed help. Khonshu needed help there from someone else. Like I don't know. I actually kind of felt for him a little bit this episode. Actually, I felt we saw a different side of Khonshu. I really did. And when he changed the stars to look like the stars to make them align for the map, I thought it was brilliant. I thought really thought that was such cool. Just the graphics are unreal on that. You know, everything is so cool.
And then when you see him turn him to stone, you see Mr. Knight lose his mask.
Yeah.
Well, I assume he hasn't got the powers now.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand. But then he's still wearing the suit.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
So is it
the suit or is his white overalls?
No, it's the suit. He's still wearing the suit. He's just lost his mask. His mask disappears. But he's still wearing the suit. So, but they find the tomb. Well, they find the location for the tomb, but it doesn't really go into much more detail after that. Then you see it zooming into the thingy, but obviously it looks like he's lost all his powers because he does collapse. So it's a bit like, has he? Like, what happens? And obviously later's like Mark, Stephen, like wake up or whatever, but we don't know.
Yeah, the last scene, I thought the last scene was not very. I thought the last scene was very weird. I didn't get it because that's the wrong words. But where Harrow was talking to this stone of Khonshu stone, going like, basically saying that because obviously he was his avatar previous, saying that he's doing all this because of him, because of the pain that he made and made people suffer. He wants to, but I just, Harrow's just Harrow. He's one of them people. He's one of them villains who thinks he's a good guy but really is a bad guy, and it's just such a strange, such a strange character. Just a very strange character.
Going to be very weird, very interesting to see what happens, because if Moon Knight can, or Stephen, or like Mark can control, they can actually keep the abilities without him being stoned. Do they need him then?
Like, well, that's what I'm saying.
Puts into question: do they actually need him?
Has Khonshu always got to be around for Mark to have his powers? Which I think
Mark
in the comics,
is getting annoyed. Mark is getting annoyed with Khonshu. You could see that because he keeps going on about Layla being the next Avatar.
He wants Layla, yeah.
And towards the end of the season, could we maybe see? I don't know. Then if he comes back, and then you never know. You could see him be like, if they keep him in stone forever, then they can carry on doing what they want, and he won't ever bother them. But that's for something later down the line.
Sure, we'll get the answer to this.
One thing that I need to touch on and note on that I've done it on Twitter as well. It was the moon of all the end credits is getting fuller like a full moon. And obviously, Moon Knight's first appearance was in a Midnight Werewolf by Midnight comics. So I reckon at the end episode we are going to see like a little snippet from the werewolf, because we know that he's getting a spin-off show for Halloween as well. So that'll be one thing I didn't notice as well. I didn't notice any QR codes this episode. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either.
Did you not?
No.
So far, there's been one in every one, hasn't there?
Yeah. But there's been two in the first one.
Yeah.
The first one where it reflects onto the glass, if you can stop the video and get a really clear picture, if you take a picture of it, it's
the Dracula.
Yeah, it's Dracula. Is it Dracula?
Werewolf.
No, it's not. It's not the werewolf. It's someone else. No, it's someone else.
I think if it's going to be anywhere, I reckon it's probably going to be in.
It'll probably be in the town centre when they're running around.
Yeah, the market or that collector's. That collector.
Could be in the taxi. Taxis have QR codes now.
In the taxi.
True. Yeah. Do you know what? I might go back and look at that and find it. If I find it, I'll post it on our Twitter and people can.
Yes.
If I can, I'll post a link as well, which if people instead of trying to find the actual QR code. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I really did.
I thought it was quite
it's
good.
Setting up a good fourth episode, which we know in all Disney Plus series are the big.
These are the good ones. These are where it really gets interesting.
These are the showstoppers, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I really am. What about you, Ash?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to. Yeah, definitely the fourth one, and then I think I'm open. I mean, there's 3 episodes left for it to wrap up. But I think they should leave it on a cliffhanger, like with Loki. I reckon leave it on a good cliffhanger, and then hopefully it won't be a show that people will just go, oh yeah, sweet, that's happened. Hopefully it will leave us on a wanting more type thing, and not just up.
Do you reckon at the end of Loki, obviously we saw the Kang statues when he went back to the TVA? Do you reckon at the end of this we're going to go into the Pyramid of Giza and see all the Rama-Tut statues? So another Kang cliffhanger. Another Kang cliffhanger. Yeah.
Is this the?
Yeah, but then even the Loki one's a weird one, because when Loki went back, he went back into a different universe.
Yeah.
Because no one remembered him, and he had Kang everywhere.
Kang was their boss. He was the leader, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then even thinking that didn't remember him. They were like, "Who are you?"
No, they didn't, did they? No. Owen Wilson's character, I forgot his name now.
Yeah,
they didn't remember him.
They didn't remember him, and he was like, "What?"
Mobius, wasn't it?
Mobius. That's it. Mobius. Yeah.
That's another story. This is so much you can go on for with this. To be fair.
Well, I reckon if we get another Rama-Tut link next episode, I think we could maybe do a bonus clip a bonus pod if everyone wants to see it, talking about the introduction of Kang into maybe all the upcoming MCU stuff, if he's got a link to anything,
or about him.
That could be.
A lot of people still don't know who he is.
No, yeah. So maybe we can do, if people want to see it, we can. We'll definitely do another one. We can definitely do one. Sorry, about Kang at least.
The thing is, we haven't even touched on like Doctor Strange and stuff. There's been so much new stuff about that.
Yeah,
we haven't even touched that. We've just,
we've sort of not stirred away from it because we wanted to do Moon Knight. Is where everyone is doing Strange at the minute and a little bit of more Moon Knight. We just want to maybe do Moon Knight, but when Strange comes out, there will be probably 10 podcasts at least talking about what happens in Strange or the aftermath of what happens and to certain characters if we know if any of them pass or if any of them, you know, I just think there's so much to talk about with Strange now. I just feel like you could talk for hours.
Yeah.
And instead of getting like 10 podcasts out where we can talk about this clip, that clip, and so what clip, I think we're just best off waiting now because we're only, is it like, I think it was like 19 days or something stupid or 17 days.
Full for that.
Yeah, something like that. So I think it's like 17 odd days. So we're not long. So we've only got another 2 episodes. We'll be on episode 4 and 5 of Moon Knight. So we've only got 3 more weeks of the pod, and then you'll get you'll get loads more with Strange content. And don't let me tell you, you're going to be absolutely bombarded with Strange content. You won't know where to turn. So I'm looking forward to that time on the pod. I really am.
Also, the thing with Strange as well is the fact that it's, for us, we're still watching it. We don't want to ruin everything. We don't want to spoil everything for us.
No.
And that's why we kind of stayed away from it a little bit. We know there's been a lot more that's gone on, but if we could deep dive into everything, then we could potentially spoil it for ourselves. And then when we watch it, we won't be as hyped because it's the first time we're ever going to be watching a film and whilst trying to do this at the same time. So we kind of want to keep the surprise there and the suspense because we don't know what's going to happen. And we can throw theories out there all the time. And we want our reactions to be
real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not forced because we have to. We're now doing it for content for ourselves in like our general life of wanting to see it, and also for you guys as well as this is our hobby. This is something that we wanted to talk to and started, and we have. I do want to thank everyone though because on our listening streams we hit over 235 viewers all time now on just listeners, that's big. Especially we've only put out 8. I think we put out 8 or 9 episodes. I think this is
7. We did an 8 today, which was Morbius at the same day.
This will be the 9th.
This will be the 9th.
So it not including this one in 8 episodes now because I've just looked. So in 8 episodes, we are on 234. Sorry, which that's big, and we can only thank you guys for listening and downloading along the ways and just being a part of it. And just is for us. It makes us want to do more content. Wants us to create more podcasts and more TikToks for Ashley to make and more Instagrams and everything. We really do thank you guys for coming along this journey with us.
No, we do. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
But all right, I think that's it. We're going to close it off there. Don't forget to follow us on all forms of our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter under the name TF3Pod. And then we are on TikTok with the Fantastic Free. We're on YouTube under the Fantastic Free if you want to watch this as a video. But if you want to watch it as a podcast or listen to it as a podcast, you find us on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung Podcast, which you can put on.
Amazon Music as well, yeah.
Amazon Music as well. And TikTok.
And we're also on Podcast Index as well, which is a free to use streaming platform service, unlike your Spotify. So that is just www.podcastindex.com. That's a free to use platform. If you want to say you want to carry on listening to us, but you might not have the money one month, just listen to us on there and continue helping us grow our channel and helping us grow our what we are trying to do here, and it's really much appreciated.
I'm just in a bit of myself. All right, guys, we will see you later on the next episode of Fantastic Free. Bye.
Bye, guys.